Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Empower Journal podcast, and I'm your host, Dev. Today's guest is someone who has actually redefined what it means to trek in India. So, we are joined by Ms. Sandhya Chandrasekharaya, who leads at India Hikes, an org that just not about reaching the summit, but about slowing down, creating safe spaces, building eco leadership practices that go beyond the mountains. And yes, this conversation is really close to my heart because I have trekked myself with India Hikes too, twice since 2022, Brahmatar and Dioraitar. And to be honest, I couldn't complete my very first summit fully. But even then, the experience left me with lessons in resilience, community building, and of course, mindfulness. It actually showed me that trekking is about so much more than the peak itself. So let's dive in, and here's Sandhya's journey and how trekking can transform lives and lead. Hello, Sandhya. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Devki, for calling me here. And I'm looking forward to this.
Great. Sometimes it's not about the big expedition, right? See, you have to excuse me. I'm directly getting into the show because I'm very curious and excited to have you over here with us. So the question is like, even short treks that actually create transformation. Have you seen small treks spark big changes?
Absolutely, Devki, because we believe that trekking doesn't mean that you have to go all the way to the Himalayas and do multiple days and stuff like that.
Right.
But just stepping out into your back door, going into the hill behind your city or just beside your city, having half a day of an outing in the outdoors, that can have a major impact on you. It can have it can leave behind a big impression on your minds. It can calm you down. It can give you the much required clarity, which our busy everyday lives do not give us. So even small outings into the outdoors, into nature, be it half a day, be it even a couple of hours, can give you that much required break you need from your busy everyday life.
In fact, it's a proof that even a few days outdoors can reset perspective. So actually that connects beautifully to mindful trekking. But let us share it with our broader audience. What is mindful trekking and how does it change the experience?
Mindful trekking for us is kind of being one with nature and respecting nature and putting nature first before yourself. So when you're out in the wilderness, when you're out in a mountain or a hill or in the forest, you're very aware of where you are. You know that you're in a surrounding that is very pristine. There are other beings, other creatures there. And being there in such a way that your presence doesn't disturb the place, I think is the first lesson in mindful trekking. By this, I mean not making loud sounds, not calling out each other loudly, not really touching or picking things from the forest or from the meadows, whatever it is, not plucking flowers, obviously not leaving behind anything. Your presence is not really felt. And if there is something that you don't like that is man-made, perhaps undoing it is also mindful trekking, so that you leave the place better than how you found it. And when you trek like this, when you're very aware of your surroundings and you know that you shouldn't disturb, and you take in the place fully, but the first thing is you are all your senses open up and you're able to take in the place fully. Then it leaves you with enormous benefits that start opening up to you by the sheer fact that you are there like this. Um, you are seeing very beautiful scenery, obviously, and this constant positive imagery actually calms you down. Your mind itself forgets all that clutter that is happening back in your life, and your mind opens up to a very calm feeling. And this kind of makes you forget a lot of things that are happening and gives you this sense of clarity or calmness that is much required in your life, and you don't get it every day. So mindful thinking is a lot of things, but first of all, I would say be very aware that you're going into the outdoors. You're going into a place which is untouched by mankind too much, and don't carry your city along. Um, uh, Experience the place.
Excellent. I have one more follow up question because this sounds like a meditation on the move. So, could you please share us when was your first mindful trekking and what it did to you? Do you remember the first time you practiced that?
Yeah. Yeah. By nature, I'm a person who likes to walk alone at least. I trek with a team, but when I'm walking, I prefer to walk by myself. At my own pace, first of all, because that gives me the ability or strength to actually tackle long distances or steep slopes without kind of overwhelming me with either the steepness or the distance or whatever it is. It helps me trek at my own pace. So the moment you're one with nature, with nothing around you, you're just focused on moving forward and you're just focused on absorbing everything around you. Um, Again, this whole positivity just comes into you. So every time I trek, there is unmistakably a sense of calmness and positivity that comes in. The sense of achievement and stuff follow later when you actually do the summit or go to the peak and stuff like that, but that's not required. Just walking in nature, being one with the sounds, being one with the sights, under the canopy of trees or on green grass or on leaves which are ruffling under your feet, all this has tremendous impact on our mind, body, and spirit.
Right. One thing that stood out for me on the trail was the sense of community, and for women especially, treks often become very safe places. Why and how do you think that happens?
Trekking is, first of all, a team sport. It is not really a very individual sport. I call it sport because it has its own rules and regulations that you have to follow. You have a team with you. That's the only reason why I call it a sport, but it is a team activity. You enjoy a trek best when you have a group of like-minded people. And trekking itself draws people who think alike, who feel alike, who look at a lot of things alike, who look at nature alike, who look at life alike, I would say. So it draws a lot of like-minded people, and given its team nature, people come together on a trek, and there is a lot of camaraderie, there's a lot of bonding, there's a lot of banter shared, laughter shared. Again, because you're out of this clutter from everyday life, there are no phone calls to disturb you. It is only you and your people around you, this like-minded set of people. So when you're either taking a break on a trek, or you're pitching your campsite, you're sitting inside a tent and having your tent talks, or you're just spending an evening watching the sunset or sunrise in the morning. So all these situations give rise to a feeling of community, a sense of closeness that you would never feel outside the trek. In fact, the friends that we make on our treks last almost a lifetime, and you don't make such deep friendship in your adult life. Usually you make friends when you're younger, when you're children, or you're in your teenage years, but not really in your adult life. But a trek is one place which gives you an opportunity to make strong bonds and strong friendships. And even as a woman in particular, because trekking draws these like-minded people and people who are generally more sensitive and who are more aware and sensitive, I feel that women find it very safe to actually go in a group and trek. It doesn't matter if you're multiple women or a single woman on a trek. Trekkers are usually like a community. They look out for each other, they watch out for each other, and it's a wonderful place, even if you're a single woman, to just go and make bonds and friendships.
Well said. So my question is, I also want to understand how India Hikes managed to pull all these like-minded people. One, and I have had women as my trek guide who would have been much younger to the entire audience. So I was super impressed by the way India Hiked had the way they have been trained and the way they handle the multiple age groups, the diversified age group throughout the trek, right from the base camp to summit. So how did India Hike structure that? Because of course there are other treks also, organizations also out there in India. But the way India Hikes have pulled it, I mean, I'm super impressed by the way it was executed. So, would like to know more about it.
Okay. There are two parts to your question. I'll answer the first part about how we draw like minded people together. So, India Hikes has always stood for a certain strong set of values. We have built our organization based on a strong set of values. The way we look at trekking, the way we look at fitness, the way we look at the environment, everything that goes around the trek and outside it also. So, and we are very vocal and strong with our value systems. For instance, we want our trekkers to come prepared. We want people to be fit. We tell people that you need to run this much before you come for a trek, and then that's the only way you'll be able to tackle the trek. That's the only way you can trek and enjoy the trek. So this is just one value system, or the value systems around sustainability. We are very vocal about our value systems, and when we are vocal about this like this, it draws like-minded people to us. People who say, okay, yes, I think they have a point and I believe they are trekking the right way. All of them come start valuing us for the values that we are talking and enforcing, and they come and trek with us. So that is one very clear way where we draw like-minded people to us. Now, coming to your second part, where you spoke about having women trek leaders, we noticed that in the initial days, trekking hardly drew women. People hardly trekked, first of all, and even there, women were very, very few. But we consciously encouraged women to trek, and we started noticing that amongst our trekkers, we started having a healthy 20-25% trekkers who are women. Now it has gone to 30-33. But when it grew to about 20-25%, we started wondering, why do we have only men as trek leaders and why not women? Because women also make wonderful leaders, and trek leading is also a lot about leadership. Yes, people may think that the physical part of it is difficult, but women are also largely into fitness, and there's nothing that there didn't seem to be anything too much in trekking that women couldn't do. So we consciously opened up trek leading positions for women, and we called out women to be trek leaders. And that experiment actually panned out wonderfully well. In the early days, we had 1 or 2 women trek leaders, but now after 17 years, we have almost 20-25% of our trek leaders who are women, and especially our women trek leaders and children who come on treks. They love having women as trek leaders because it gives a lot of reassurance and safety for trekkers themselves, parents of children, everybody. And women do make wonderful trek leaders.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, I love that perspective, like how they don't have to be anything less than what men can. And I noticed something else that gave me a lot of confidence also, because I have trekked with Nikita and Swati and Pramath, one male trekker. So many of the trek leaders and guides were young, and of course these women were also young. Seeing them lead with strength and empathy made the trial feel very safer and more empowering. So thanks to you on that. So because that is not something we often see in other spaces. So more love to that.
It gives a lot of confidence to trekkers, even to male trek leaders, trekkers. It gives a lot of confidence to see a young lady who's leading the trek and managing it and leading the whole team with a lot of good things.
Absolutely. One more thing which grabbed attention about India Hikes was the eco leadership is a big part of the experience. So what does eco leadership means to you, and how do you practice it on the trials?
So this whole thing about eco leadership or eco environmental sensitivity or sustainability that we call, we in our early days these were in the buzzwords. Sustainability was not even a word that people spoke about. But as trekking started becoming a little more popular, we started noticing that the trails were beginning to get littered. And we noticed that people who went on treks and camped in campsites, they tend to leave behind litter and not take back the waste with them. It may be because the trekkers didn't think it was important, or their support staff didn't think it was important. Whatever be the reason, we started noticing that this was only growing. And as trekking grew, we realized that if, as the leading organization, If India Hikes didn't do something about it, the whole mountains and trekking would not be there for the future generations. And we wanted to leave mountains better than how we found them. So even that little bit of disturbance to the trails was not something that we accepted. And we decided that let us start a movement, a division within ourselves, which solely focuses on sustainability and trekking with the right practices, especially when it came to the environment. Now, we call this the Green Trails movement. And our Green Trails movement kind of wants to leave the trails better, not just with leave no trace, but pick up things that even others have left behind, leave campsites better, even if it is not our campsite. So, do all that work, involve our trekkers in them. But that's not just about that. We realize that when we're having so many trekkers come and trek with us, it was important for the trekkers to take back a sense of sustainability back with them, because sustainability is not just about how we trek, but also about how people live their lives in themselves. Because our daily life practices do come in when people go on treks, whether with us or without us. So we wanted them to take back this awareness of sustainability and awareness of not consuming, over consuming things that are not biodegradable or which can cause harm to the environment, not leaving things behind, not bringing things to the mountains which have no place there. So a lot of these things we wanted them to take back with them. Plus a lot of practices in trekking itself, how human waste was being managed, how kitchen waste was being managed. We had to set standards for all of these. How we managed our energy, how we looked at reducing a footprint on the mountains, because when people trek, there is a footprint. We wanted to reduce that also. So it was an all-encompassing set of practices and values that we brought under this umbrella called as Green Trails. And it's been 17 years, our journey continues. We've made progress, but the journey is far from over, it is on.
That's quite inspiring. So looking ahead, where do you see the future of trekking in India?
Trekking in India is still at a very infancy stage, I would say. People are trekking with us, people are trekking by themselves. There are other organizations, I know that. But if you look at the potential that we have, not only in the Himalayas, but even in the hills around our cities, in our own backyards. If you look at how many people trek, it's still a very, very, very small, minuscule number. And trekking being the immensely beneficial activity it is, we believe many more people must trek. Children must trek, older people must trek, youth must trek. So we see immense potential for trekking to grow. And as India Hikes, we would like to empower its growth. It doesn't mean that people have to trek with India Hikes alone, but people need to trek on their own. That is why our endeavor to document trails, bring out trails in various parts of the country, also establish these sustainability and safety practices, which are very important if trekking has to grow, and establishing the right culture and value systems of trekking. So these are all a part of our journey, if you call it for India Hikes, but trekking in India is still at a very small stage, and we see immense potential for it to grow.
Sandhya, these days most of us are glued to screens. At least that's what our life has come to now. Even our sports and hangouts happen on turf grounds or in the city. How do we get this generation to swap turf for the real trials, to travel and to basically rediscover the magic of the mountains?
This is a very relevant question for today, Devki. What I feel is it is something like raindrops. You have to first get a few of those enthusiastic people to get started on trekking, to go out into nature, into the mountains and experience nature. Once that happens, I'm sure people will fall in love with trekking or just being out in the mountains, and they come back, talk about their experience to people around them, their friends, and they become an influence. Once this starts to happen, the next circle of people go, a domino effect takes over, and a whole new generation of people will want to take up trekking, or will start reconnecting with nature and the mountains. What is critically important here is that we always have new people trekking, and we take the effort to introduce new people to trekking and to the natural world. I have seen this cycle happen in the past, and I'm sure it will follow a similar path in the current generation and the future also.
Thank you. So, one question on a lighter note. So, if you had a magic wand to design the future of trekking in India, what's the first thing you would change besides banning plastic water bottles and loudspeakers?
I would encourage people to get a little more fit, make a small lifestyle change where fitness becomes a small part of their lives at least, and then obviously once fitness becomes a part of your life, hiking automatically opens up because hiking becomes a lot more enjoyable. So that is the small change that I would like to see in people.
Lovely. Okay, and here is the final question I have to ask. So, of all the trails you have walked, which are your favorite treks?
Okay, let me try. Rupin Pass is one of my all-time favorites. The trek is a very beautiful crossover trek in Himachal Pradesh. I love the Kuwari Pass trek also in Uttarakhand.
So, Anna, for someone who's listening today, wanted to start their trekking journey, what would you suggest them to begin with?
I would say if you have the option, go on a weekend, find a hill near your city, near your town, and take a few friends and go hike and come back. That would be a taster. After that, you can actually pick a small 4-day easy trek in the Himalayas, because trekking in the Himalayas is undeniably something else. It is almost meditation, and everyone must experience it if you can.
Okay, so here is a set of rapid fire questions for you. So, very quick answers. So, when we start with one trek every Indian should do at least once.
The Kedarkantha trek.
Okay, the bucket list trek. Great choice. Okay, your personal toughest trek till date?
My personal toughest trek was the Stokangri trek. That's in Ladakh. Goes to 20,000 feet.
Okay. The most underrated trek in India?
Most underrated trek. Okay. The Ranthambore trek.
Okay. So, what is that one biggest myth people have about trekking, according to you?
That an easy trek is actually easy.
I exactly understand what you mean. Right. If not the Himalayas, where would you want to trek?
Western Ghats.
Western Ghats. Okay, very raw and
yeah.
Okay. Biggest trend you're seeing, like solo women trekkers or family treks or corporate treks? What is the shift?
Family treks. I see a lot of families wanting to trek with their little children, and that's such a welcome change.
Lovely. Okay, one change you have seen in how Indians look at trekking in the last 5 years?
It has become a lot more open. People have become a lot more open to trekking. Earlier, it could be a very hardcore sport. But now I see a lot of people across age groups or situations trekking.
Great then. There is this one analogy which is very trendy these days. Would you call trekking is the new yoga for India?
I hope it would be because hiking in the outdoors is as therapeutic as yoga is.
Right. So here is the last question. So Gen Z trekkers are more adventurous or more comfort seeking, according to you?
Comfort seeking, unfortunately.
Right, Sandhya, thank you so much for joining us on the Empower Journal podcast today. From trekking as therapy to mindful adventures, safe communities, eco-leadership, like you have shown us that trekking is far more than climbing a mountain. And it's about slowing down, I believe, in fact. That's my understanding from your answers. and connecting deeply with natures, like you rightly pointed. So, do you like to leave a note to our audiences through the closing note?
I believe that trekking is immensely beneficial. It has a very big impact on your mind, body, and spirit. So I would encourage everyone to try trekking, maybe big or small, just go out in nature and walk.
Thank you so much, Sandhya. That was precise and still very impactful. To all our listeners, I hope this episode inspires you to take your first mindful step into a trial. This was episode 35 of the Empower Journal podcast. I'm your host, Dev, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.